Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In the Know Live Cooking Edition. I am Joey Skladany. Hope you're having a very pleasant Thursday. I am particularly excited today because I'm bringing you two of my all-time favorite recipes. I feel like I'm going to start saying that every week, but these two are legit. I make them all the time, and they just happen to be vegan. Now, let me tell you something about vegan food. I went into it being a bit of a skeptic myself. I'm a huge meat eater, but vegan food's awesome for two reasons. One, it's just healthy. Like, this is a sunset of vegetables we have in front of us here. Second, it's good for the environment. As we know, with factory farming and raising meat, it's not the best for the ozone layer. So I'm excited to bring you two of my favorites. First being a shishito pepper with a spicy aioli. And I know what you're probably thinking, shishito peppers, I'm scared of them. No, ma'am. Only 1 out of 10 are said to be spicy. And the spice is not even as close to a jalapeno. And frankly, I think someone's lying to me because I've had a million shishito peppers in my lifetime and I've never had a spicy one. Watch, today I'm gonna get the spicy one. So yeah, shishito peppers, let's just start with these first. And what I'm going to do, you're gonna make fun of me. I have an irrational fear of sudden loud noises, which means living in New York City is so great for me, car horns and taxis. So I actually cut a little hole in my shishito peppers before putting them on my cast iron skillet because when they are blistering, they do fill up with steam and air. And I don't like balloons. I don't like bubble wrap. That's just my weird little thing. So what you're going to do is just grab yourself a cast iron skillet. Now this one is a Lodge and I feel like it's industry standard. Everybody has it. Every chef has it, I should say. Every amateur chef should have it. And I have it on medium low heat right now. You can pipe it up to medium, but I kind of like to keep things low and slow, especially in a studio apartment where more likely than not, I'm going to set off my smoke detector. So keep an ear out for that. But I also like to use an avocado oil. So I'm going to put that in the pan. Now, why an avocado oil? Again, it's going to be about like 2 teaspoons worth. An avocado oil is great because it has a high smoke point. So it's not going to char the pan. It's really going to char the food. And when it comes to seasoning cast iron skillets, avocado oil is also great for that same reason. It's also a very neutral oil. Sometimes, when you use something on a skillet with olive oil or sesame oil, it kind of retains that flavor. And avocado oil really will allow these shishito peppers and the accompanying sauce to shine. So, like I said, popping holes and just throwing them right in. I know, I'm super weird. But yeah, you just want to lay them out onto your cast iron skillet. I'm going to turn the heat up just a bit more. I actually was looking for these online. I don't know if shishito peppers are just like on trend right now, but it's nearly impossible. I know they're really popular in restaurants as appetizers, which is why I wanted to make it for you today because people think they're really hard. They think you need a grill. You don't need a grill. You just need a skillet. You can actually use an oven too. You just toss these in some oil, put it on a baking sheet, and they're done in like 10 to 15 minutes. But yeah, you just put them in like so. Make sure that they're spaced out because if they're kind of on top of each other, they're not going to cook evenly, and we don't like that. Bloop-de-bloop. All right, you can hear it a little bit starting to heat up. Now, as that's happening, I'm going to walk you through my aioli. Now, this aioli is banging. I put it on practically everything that could use a sauce. I put it on eggs in the morning. I top it on a burger. Oh my gosh, it's my go-to. And it's vegan. Surprise, that's the theme. We're going to start with just a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and this is a vegan mayonnaise. Again, if you want to use a standard one with eggs and make it vegetarian, that's totally fine. From there, you're going to take a tablespoon of sriracha. And again, this is very customizable. If you don't want it super spicy, that's okay. Just hold back a little bit on this. But with me, I kind of want it like tonsils on fire levels of hot. What's going to help tone down this heat is actually 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Make sure it's fresh. Nobody likes that jarred stuff. It's nasty. And a teaspoon of soy sauce, which is going to bring in a nice salt element. And then from there, just a teaspoon of minced garlic. Again, me being bougie, I guess, because I made a comment about the lemon juice, I always say, make sure you don't use that garlic in a water jar stuff because it impacts the taste. It's just not the same as freshly chopped garlic. You know, that's pro tip, semi-pro tip, a semi-pro tip for you. And all you do is just give this a good mix. That's it. You just need a spoon and some elbow grease. It's kind of my theme when it comes to most of my cooking. All right, I'm gonna set this down briefly and just take a look at these. You wanna constantly be flipping them too. That's why I've got some good tongs with me. See how some of them are gonna get, oh, maybe we need to put the heat up a little bit. See how some of them are starting to get the char on the outside? That's exactly what you want. You want these to kind of shrivel up, really get them into that oil. Also, your cast iron skillet can get insanely hot. So I've got just this Amazon Basics silicone hot skillet handle cover, which comes in handy because I have burnt my hands a few too many times. Again, just keep flipping them. It should really, if this was as hot as I would have liked it to be, it only takes about 5 minutes. No joke. It's really the most simple appetizer in the world. Also, a really great way to get your kids to like vegetables because the pepper of a shishito is very muted. People, again, assume that it's like this super spicy situation, and that's absolutely not the case. The spice we're bringing in is actually in this sauce, which I'm going to keep mixing. Add a little bit of salt. Again, we put soy sauce in there, so you don't want it to be too salty. Yum. I kind of want to bottle this and sell it. I was told to do that once. And I feel like, so there's a place in New York called Sticky's. If you know me, you know it's like my life. I order from it every Friday. It's a chicken finger and french fry place, but they're famous for their sauces. And now they're actually bottling up their sauces and selling them. And I'm like, okay, I need to do the same with this aioli because I use it way too much and people want it way too often. Okie doke, going back to the skillet. Want to see if some of these are charring so you can get it. There you go. You just really want them to be blistered. That sizzle noise means things are happening. And look, no popping because I cut the slits in them. So I know, I'm so weird. I've had this phobia since I was little. I think it's because my mom can attest to this. Mom can clarify. I think I was at Universal Studios Orlando and there was like an Indiana Jones ride and there was just loud noises and little baby Joey was not a fan at all. One thing to know too is that I put the garlic in the dressing or the sauce because if you put it on the skillet, it's going to heat right away and burn, and that's not something we want. We don't want garlic. Anyway, in fear of potentially setting off a smoker, so I think we're good. I was going to show you the end result and how I played it. Super cute, super green. I made these earlier. Ooh, the magic of live television, even though it's sitting behind me the entire time. So surprise. Let me just turn that off because again, I get nervous. And I want to transfer over my Dutch oven for the chili I'm going to make you. There we go. So once these are removed from heat, all I do, just go in with some sea salt and top it with half a lemon juice from the lemon. And then I'm going to spoon some of this awesome aioli. Promise you, it's going to become a dinner time staple. This is what's going to get your kids to eat vegetables. It's vegan. So you're welcome, environment. And that's it. This is so great also for parties. It's a great starter. If you've got a charcuterie board, you can actually put these aside and put this aioli with it. But look how pretty. Look at how glistening, beautiful. I have to bite, obviously. It's a cooking show without eating. Oh my God, I got the spicy one. Just kidding. Actually, no. That's the aioli. Super delicious. But no, these are great. These are great. Like exactly like the ones you'd order at a restaurant and think that you need a grill for. Nope. Look, takes less than 10 minutes. Oh, and this aioli. Oh my gosh. So good. Okay, moving along to the main event. And I am beyond stoked for you to try this. Is chili. And this is any old chili. This is a sweet potato, black bean based chili. And you know, what was that one commercial? They said, "Where's beef?" Not here. We don't need it. We don't want it because these ingredients really do it up on their own. Now, when it comes to chili, everybody has personal preference, a way they like to do things. With me, it's all about low and slow. So I've got florals for spring, groundbreaking, but actually really beautiful. And this is from the pioneer woman herself, Ree Drummond. It's a part of her line with Walmart, but look how pretty with these flowers. I've got some chili going in the Instant Pot right now. I have it on the slow cook mode because what I like to do is first meld all my ingredients together on the stovetop in a Dutch oven and transfer it to my slow cooker and allow it to simmer for literally 6 to 8 hours. And that's my method. An Instant Pot is amazing because it also pressure cooker built in, so you can have chili literally within minutes if that's what you prefer. If you want to just do it on the Dutch oven on the stovetop or a Dutch oven on the stovetop, that's totally fine as well. It'll only take you about 30 minutes. You just want to make sure your sweet potatoes get softened, and I'll run by that once we get to that point. But yeah, so for the sake of time, what I'm going to do is just show you what I would do on the stove before putting it in the Instant Pot. I'm gonna rush through it. I would probably take more time, but I wanna make sure that you at least see the steps. So first things first, I've got on medium heat, and I'm just gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then from there, I'm going to start by cooking down my red onions. Now, I love red onions because they are one of the sweetest of the onion family. And when they cook down, it does release that sugar, making it almost like a caramelized effect. And what you'll notice about this chili and why it's amazing is that it's got the perfect balance between sweet and spicy. There's a little bit of smokiness that's brought in, and I'll explain that in a bit. But yeah, onions go right in. And I'm happy that this just happened because can I tell you, I've been smelling these for the past hour and I'm like, get into dang pot. Just want to cook these down. If they're not cooked all the way, it's because I'm just going through the motions. But yeah, you want to make sure these are nice and translucent. I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil. Now, this Dutch oven is also great. I think it's another kitchen staple among chefs or amateur cooks. It's a Hamilton Beach Dutch oven. It's sturdy. I've had this thing for years. It comes in pretty colors, so you can match whatever decor you have. Just another product I love. Figured I would share it with you. Now, if you do want to add meat to chili, God bless. That's if your decision, and I welcome it. But what you want to do is probably brown your meat first, and then that's what you're going to add at the end once you put your vegetables and your other ingredients on the stove. So, meat lovers out there, I want you to give this vegan chili a try, but if it's not for you and you're just craving either ground pork, ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, then just brown it first like you would normally do on a skillet and set it aside, and then add it in at the end before putting it into your Instant Pot or your slow cooker. Okay. Now let's pretend those like really cook down because from there you're gonna add your garlic. Now garlic cooks a lot quicker than onions. That's why I delay adding the garlic. And this is going to be 2 cloves of minced garlic. And I should have mentioned that was actually an entire large red onion that went in because it cooks down so much. Is that not the best smell in the entire world? But I'm weird. I like the smell of gasoline and weird things. You know how people have like random scents that are maybe nostalgic or just bizarre? Gasoline is a thing. I know people are like, what the hell is he talking about? No, gasoline is the thing. But this is the best smell in the whole world. Cooking down garlic and onions and olive oil. Oh my gosh. Especially as a Sicilian where this is just a typical day in the Skladany household. Righty. From there, we've got these beautiful peppers. I've got 1 diced yellow pepper and 1 diced red bell pepper. Now that red bell pepper is going to bring in another level of sweetness, which we need to counter the spices. Get ready. But here's something that's going to blow your mind. And tell me if I didn't know this until years ago, and maybe I shouldn't even admit to it. Did you know that peppers, they're all the same? It's just different colors because of the maturation process and when they're harvested. So a red pepper is a yellow pepper that just matured longer. Green peppers are obviously, they're not as old. They're baby peppers, let's just say. But that kind of blew my mind. Am I the only one who didn't know that until like 4 years ago? Same for jalapenos. Do you know chipotles are just jalapenos that have been on the stem longer? The more you know. So yeah, I just want to cook down now your peppers. This really does look like a sunset. And maybe that's just the Florida boy in me talking, but I always say if the food is, you eat with your eyes first, and if the food is beautiful, you're gonna want to eat it. Okay, now moving on to the fun part, and let me tell you, again, spices, aromatics, completely customizable to your liking. I know there are some people who are spice averse, in which case we can never be friends. Just kidding. I will tailor to your needs. But this is a spicy one, folks. And when I've said before on the show, meaning the one episode we had before this, I'm a professional eater, not a professional chef. So when I was going through recipe development and working with someone, she was like, you need to scale back on the spice. And even this, I've been told, is a lot. So definitely accommodate your taste buds, your palate. But I do want to point out that I am using chipotle chili powder, and that is a tablespoon's worth, as well as a tablespoon's worth of cumin, which is going to give a nice pepperiness. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. You can get smoked or sweet. I chose smoked because I just want to bring out the smoky flavors of the chipotle. But again, if you want to sweeten things up a bit, get the sweet variety. Teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I know, it's a lot, but I can stomach it. I think most of y'all can. If you're still tuning in, this is In the Know Live, and I am making a really spicy chili, but completely customizable for you. If you don't like smokiness that the chipotle pepper provides, then just stick with the cayenne. If you don't like spice at all, don't put it in. Or use a hot sauce, which is going to be more of a vinegar taste and more palatable for you. In the middle, I actually have a chopped chipotle powder that was in adobo sauce, which is essentially just tomato paste, garlic powder, and onion powder. But it comes in these cans, and yeah, you just take one out, chop it up, and I like the idea of putting in actual pepper with the powder. So just dunking this right in. Oh, I have a freaking rest and I'm not using it. I'm using my cutting board instead. All right, and give it a good stir. You want to make sure it coats everything. Oh, smells so good. And I love meal prepping chili. It's one of my favorite things because you make it on Sunday, and if you live alone and you're single and you're a loser like me, you're gonna be eating that thing for 5 days. And yeah, it's just great for meal prepping and it's high protein. So if you're working out a lot and you need your gains, hashtag GAINZ, then this is the perfect dish for you. Especially because I'm adding a can, 15.5 ounce can of rinsed black beans. I almost said dried. They're not dried. From a can. Yeah, just rinse them out, plop these right in. And then the star of the show, your chopped sweet potato. Just one sweet potato, nothing fancy. And that goes right in as well. Again, that sweet potato is what's going to be satiating and be filling for you. It's the carb, it's the starch. But if you feel like you need some else, you can actually take about a half a cup to 3/4 a cup, I would say, of quinoa and put that in your Instant Pot or your slow cooker right before cooking, and it'll soak up all the juices. And that's another way to add in a high protein carb. I do that during the winter months when I'm really ready to hibernate. Okay, so if I was making this feel not for you, I would wait for this to cook down a bit, allow the sweet potatoes to soften. But I'm gonna just show you the process. And that is to next grab about 30 ounces worth of fire roast tomatoes with chilies. Again, the fire roasted falls in line with our theme of smokiness. The chilies are gonna bring that extra love spice. Just open these up. Pray I don't slice my hand open because I would do something like that. All right, I'm gonna just dump them in one by one. Because this chili, once you cook your vegetables, they're in dire need of a liquid. This is gonna help provide that. I think they have the 15.5 ounce cans as well. If you've got those, just 2 of those. Math, it's great. All right, and now we're going to give this a stir. Perfect. From there, we're gonna add more liquid. Now I'm using a vegetable stock, a cup's worth, and you can use vegetable broth. Again, if you want this to be vegan, you can use chicken stock, chicken broth, beef broth, whatever. Just get a liquid in. You can use beer. Oh, Corona, that's gonna bring in another flavor profile that is amazing. Just pour it right in. That's it. What I would do if I was just cooking this on the top is leave this on a simmer for about 30 minutes, like I mentioned previously, because you just really want to make sure those sweet potatoes get soft. But because I want to show you how I top it with, obviously, the best vegan ingredients you can find, I'm cheating and flash forwarding. Fast forwarding. All right, so I've got my Pioneer Woman in the pot. This has been cooked all day, and I'm going to scoop out some and show you how I prepare my chili. First, I am obsessed with these Cook with a K, like Kardashian, pasta bowls because they can work as not only a bowl, but they're like wide enough. Great for stews, chilies, pastas, chicken salad, whatever, you name it. Anything that you are really gonna go big on. um, yeah, what was I gonna say too? There was one more thing I was supposed to put on this. Nope, never mind. Oh, that I'll tell you later. No, I'll tell you now. What I do sometimes is actually put chips on the bottom or on the outside because I don't know about you. I'm one of those chili eaters where I like to dip. I like to dip everything, but to dip into my chili spread, and it's sometimes cute to just line it tortilla chip. Nothing novel. I don't know why I was like pretending like the insanely amazing idea. Let me scoop it out. Woo, looks so good. Looks so good. This is what it looks like before I top it with a million things. Super pretty. Super colorful. Okay, first, you're thinking vegan, how sour cream on this? Well, they actually have Tofutti sour cream. It's made from tofu. So if you love dairy to make it creamier, silkier, to cut the spice, just add a little sour cream or Tofutti sour cream right on top, a little dollop. Next, I know what you're probably thinking. What about cheese? Oh my gosh, cheese is one of the best parts of a chili. Do you know there are vegan cheeses now that actually melt? Which boggles my mind. And that is Diabrind, has a cheddar variety that I really like. And I just put some right on top. I also love a pickled jalapeno because I guess I'm a bit of a masochist. I don't know, I just love spicy food. And there's just something about the brine of a pickled jalapeno that is delicious. Next, you're going to take some cilantro. Very polarizing, I know. It's based on a genetic thing. For some people, it tastes like soap. And I can't fault you because there's science behind why that's the case. Obviously, some avocado slices. And gosh, this is me. This is so typical me, like making 7,000 messes as I go. I love a green onion moment. The prettiest garnish. Fancy. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to take a lime and put it right on top because this is what is going to cut through that spice and give it a nice lightness. It's going to make it more refreshing. And yeah, I am just obsessed with this. There are no other ways to describe it. I'm taking a bite. How beautiful. Love. This is a full meal with everything you could want and then some. I need a little bit of sour cream. Yummy. Hits the spot, sweet, spicy, a little bit of salt. I always, like I said, those herbs on top are 100% necessary, the cilantro and the green onion, because I always like to counter a cooked thing with a fresh thing. Same for that lime juice, that's your fresh element. Now, I don't even know what else to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want more amazing recipes like these, please be sure to go to intheknow.com. I'll be here every Thursday at 5 with these very unintimidating recipes. I also have a cookbook, Basic Bitchin', where you can find this recipe. And I'm doing a giveaway every single week on my Instagram at Joey Skladany. And last week's winner is Instagram user at the Hungry Taco. Great name. So be sure to check out my Instagram and enter yourself in the giveaway for next week. Next week actually is Snack Attack. So think popcorn, think nuts, and a loaded nacho with chorizo that's going to really knock your socks off. Thanks so much for joining me and have a great weekend. Bye.